So, the reason why this is referring to this SCP-2812 is because there's no other SCP that can transcend the another SCP who transcends everything. That would make no sense. You can't make two SCPs who transcend everything. Because it's either one of them gonna be the strongest.
Yeah, so I'd like to see digital evidence of this.
Did you? I gave you my rational reasoning, which you
I
never
don't care
contended.
about your reasoning. I just want to see a scan. I'd like to see proof
Oh,
of this referring
so
to
you have no
SCP-3812. I
contentions?
don't.
You have
Hold
no
on, no.
contentions?
I
No,
have
you
no
can.
contentions. I literally gave you a contention. You're just trying to ignore the burden that
You
I've placed on
said
you, Saiyan.
you said I don't care. You're not
You're
you're not
trying to
responding to
ignore
me.
the burden.
I did
I'm
not
not
ignore
responding to you.
shit.
I've already responded to
I
you, and you're
gave
not.
you
You
a
okay? You're not
rational
contending
reasoning. If I
what I
gave you a
said.
rational, oh my
Rational
god,
reasoning, I don't care about rational reasoning, Saiyan. I care about you showing me that this is referring to SCP-3812.
that's the evidence, my guy. Thank you.
That's the evidence?
Yes, I
Rational reasoning?
gave. Yeah, if I give you a reasoning, that's a
Yeah,
part of
so
the
hold on.
proof.
Reasoning isn't evidence. You are aware of that, right?
Wait, it is rational. Whoa,
It is?
rational evidence can be referred to as proof. You do realize that?
Rational evidence can be
Yeah, because it's
referred
a
to as proof.
reasoning.
Yeah, okay, I don't really care. Reasoning? Okay, so hold on. So if I say that I can fly, and then I give reasoning as to I have fucking feet that like make me fly. Does that mean that I can fly? That's reasoning, but that doesn't correlate or give reasoning to like the actual
Oh,
argument. Saiyan.
hold on. That's
As
disanalogous
like an
because
ability
there's a
to fly. It's not
contradiction. No,
disanalogous.
no, it is disan. Let me explain to you why. Because there's a contradiction in this reality that he can't fly because every other people have feet like you said, and they can't fucking fly. In
Okay,
this
let's
context,
say
no,
that I have an extra
context,
finger.
in this
Like what the
context,
fuck?
whoa, stop. In this context, I explained to you and you didn't give any contradiction. You only left me a possibility. I gave you a
I
reasoning
didn't leave you a
that there
possibility.
can't be an
I'm asking
SCP
you.
who's
I'm
above him.
asking you.
Yeah, let me
I'm
finish.
asking you to prove that.
No, I'm a local mute right now. I told you there can't be an SCP who's transcending him if he's the one who transcends. You can't transcend a person who's already the strongest.
About this, bro. I'll contend this in a second. I
What's your
want you to
contention?
prove. I want you to prove that this is referring to SCP-3812. Once you do, I can contend whatever you want.
I told you there can't be another SCP
I
that fucking transcends.
Hold on. There can't. I'm saying you'd have to prove this to be an SCP in the first place. That's what I want you to do.
Wait, but let
Because
me
it
explain
doesn't
to you.
mention
No, listen,
anything. It says I wrote the laws of the universe, and as such I created the narrative. This is the first time I've done this, but it was the first
doesn't
time I've
have
tried
to be
something this specific.
explicitly
I
stated.
want to
It
create
can
something that
be.
my definition superseded, blah, 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 blah. It
It
doesn't
can
even
be
mention anything
implied.
about SCPs at all.
It can be.
It can be applied.
Yeah, and I'll
So
explain
I'm
you this.
asking
Wait,
you,
Union.
a knowledge claim. Yes, do you know you have to prove knowledge claims? So your knowledge
Union.
claim is that this is referring to SCP-3812. So I want you to prove it.
Okay, Union. If I prove, let's say this. If I prove SCP is the character who transcends, and there's no other SCP who transcend everything and anything, we can come to a conclusion that it's referring to him because he's the only person who transcends everything and anything.
So I'm just going to ask you this real quick. So you can't prove that this scan right here that you sent me is referring to SCP-3812?
I already did.
Okay.
I gave you my reasoning that there can't be another SCP who transcends him.
Reasoning isn't evidence. Reasoning isn't evidence. I placed a burden on you, and if you're just going to ignore the burden, then I'll just call it a burden.
Yeah, I gave you my evidence.
Yeah,
I told you,
BOR.
you can't transcend a character who's already above everything.
I'll take your concession now.
What Oh my god.
You haven't given any refutation.
You ignored
the
what I
original
said.
burden that I placed on you, which is a refutation in a
There's
sense.
no SCP.
So I'm calling a burden of rejoinder off of that.
That's not a burden of rejoinder. Burden of rejoinder means not responding or refuting someone's argument. That's giving the victory. You did not give an opposing argument. You only said a burden.
Yes, my opposing argument. Yes, okay, so if you ignore a burden, then that's in the sense of an argument, which can entail a concession.
But so then you're not on the negative. You're not on the negative.
So I'm not on the negative?
Yes, you're not on the negative because you're telling me to prove that you're on the skepticism. What?
So you made the positive assertion that This was referring to SCP-3812 as a presupposition. And when I ask you to prove it, you just say there would be no other SCP that can supersede shit like him. And I'm saying I want you to prove that this is referring to SCP-3812 because I don't know what it's referring to. So I'm asking you to prove your claim, and this is a refutation towards your original positive claim. And when you don't provide evidence to it, this would
Wait, Union.
entail a
Let
refutation,
me tell.
and
No,
you
it's not.
are
Whoa,
ignoring
whoa,
the
whoa, whoa.
refutation, which would entail a burden of rejoinder, Saiyan.
Hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me
So
tell
I've
you,
already explained my
Union. Let me
reasoning. I'm
tell you
done.
this.
I'm done. No, I'm done.
No, the
Yeah,
refutation
you're
means
allowed to, you're
no.
allowed to leave VC
Union,
now,
no. Let me tell you
and
this.
you're allowed to leave now.
Refutation
I'm gonna
means the
stop the
action
recording.
of proving
This is
a
over.
statement or theory
I'm
to
not
be
even
wrong or
forcing.
false.
I'm not
You
forcing
never
conclusions. He
proved
basically.
this
You
thing
can
to be
leave now.
false.
10.
No,
It's
listen,
over.
Union. You asking me to prove something is not a refutation because you didn't prove this shit to be false. You're, if you tell me to prove this and you tell me you don't
Stood.
know, so that you can't make a fucking positive, no, not positive, like a fucking negative claim. What are you talking about? If you have no knowledge on this thing, you can't claim that this is false. Therefore, that's not a refutation. Like, what are you saying? You can't refute something if you tell someone to prove it if you have no knowledge on this thing. If you have knowledge on this thing and you're trying to prove it wrong, that's refutation. This is what I'm saying.
No, I'm done. I already beat you. I'm done.
Okay, I'll take burden of rejoinder on that. Like what?
You can't take a burden of
Yes,
rejoinder
I can
because I've
because you
already
didn't
taken
respond
your
to what I
concession.
said.
I've already taken your concession.
Oh my god. What concession? Dude, where's the concession? Where did I agree with you? Where did I
Yeah,
agree with something that I disagreed with?
so basically, off of burden of rejoinder, I will take your concession.
A burden of rejoinder does not entail a concession. What are you talking about? Concede
Hold
means
on.
agree. Concede
Hold
means
on.
agree on something. Even after that, you argued.
So
So I'll
you're
give
saying
you
a
I'll give
burden
you an
of
analogy. No,
rejoinder.
I'll
So
give you an
hold on.
analogy.
So you're saying the that a burden of rejoinder doesn't entail a concession.
No, because if
Because
you
I
give me the
think
burden
based
of
off of the
rejoinder, that
previous
doesn't mean
points
wait,
and
Union,
this
Union.
point of me
No, stop
winning,
cutting me
I
off.
think
Can you
that I
stop
would
cutting me?
I
Can you
think
stop
I think
cutting me
that
off?
like off of that
Let me explain
I
to you
think
why.
that would entail your
Let
concession
me
because
explain
you
to you
have
why.
no more scans to send and you have no
Union,
more characters to scale.
Union,
So I think based off of this, it's over,
Union.
bro.
Can I explain you
Because
this?
do you know what a
Union,
fallacy is? It's a
Union. Can
burden of
I?
rejoinder is a
Union,
logical
Union. Can I
what is it?
fucking explain it to you?
It's
Like,
a
stop
formal
talking.
fallacy.
Oh my fucking yeah! I'm a local mute right now, and I'll tell you this. A burden of rejoinder does not prove a concession because with a burden of rejoinder, you don't respond to someone's opposing argument. With the concession, you agree with the person after you try to argue against that. That's what a concession is. You're using the word wrong.
All right. So did you unmute me? Am I good now?
Huh?
Hello? Okay, thank you. So, do you know like what a do you know that a burden of rejoinder is a formal fallacy, correct? You do know that, you're aware of that, right? Or do I have to prove it?
I mean, what makes it a fallacy? I could probably agree on it, but I've never heard of it being a fallacy. You can just go ahead and explain.
All right, yeah, I got you.
Because some people say it's not a fallacy or is a fallacy, so I'm not trying to take either side.
For a fallacy is when someone makes an argument based on unsound reasoning, burden of proof is one fallacy which side. Oh wait, I did burden of proof. Wait, hold on, burden of rejoinder. Oh, why the fuck not?
Okay.
So basically, I can get another definition if I can find, but I'll just argue this for right now. But if this can't go through, I know it can, but um,
Yeah, I'm
reasons
open the
for
original.
accepting a certain. Go ahead.
Okay, in what part do you want? Do you want me to like talk about everything about this, or like?
No, you. Oh, hold on. Actually, I don't even need this. Actually, never mind. I'll just like argue with logic. Um, you okay? So a burden of or a burden of refutation or a burden of rejoinder basically entails that it's the obligation to refute or respond to someone's argument. Correct.
Yeah. Why is it fallacious?
Sure. So you know what a fallacy is, right?
A fallacy is when, if we say a formal fallacy, is when it's an error in logic, like a flaw in logic, flaw in reasoning.
Basically, a failure in reasoning which renders an argument invalid, or faulty reasoning, misleading, or unsound argument.
Yeah. So, let's say we're using this scenario. Uh, let's say, uh, person A says Goku is multiversal, right? The person says no, he's not, because this feed that you presented is contradicted. So if this other person does not respond to it, that doesn't make it fallacious because the win gives to the person because he doesn't respond to it. Like if the person's point is valid, right? But he just doesn't respond to his own refutation, that does
Actually, I just
not
found it.
prove.
Never mind. Never mind. We're good. Found it.
Are you
Okay,
hearing what
shut
I'm
up now.
saying?
No, not really, because I was looking for something.
Okay.
Basically, this website. I don't recommend you to click on it, honestly.
Yeah, just
But
just stream it or some
yeah,
shit.
yeah, I'll just stream it. What we see here, it's like a where was this? Yeah, y'all can hear me still, right? All right,
Yeah,
we're good.
yeah, I can.
Yeah, so no, I'm good. This is from the CCA, which is the
Policy debate glossary. Like, isn't this for politics?
computers. No, it's policy debate glossary. Addendum, ad hominem, advantages, agency, argumentation, burden of rebuttal, burden of rejoinder, the obligation, and it goes on for 7. It lists multiple fallacies, multiple
Where does it
interests, and
refer to it
multiple.
being a fallacy?
Yeah, so we see him list multiple fallacies as such as burden of proof, which is a fallacy, the assertion, argumentation, list ad hominem, advantages, agency,
Okay,
burden
you
of
know, I have
rejoinder,
a
the
problem
obligation to
with
refute
this.
or respond to
I have a
opposing
problem with it.
arguments, applies to both the affirmative and negative insofar as it challenges an argument of the other. So basically, if you're challenging the argument and it's shown that you commit a burden of rejoinder, which is the obligation or fucking the obligation to refute to someone's argument,
Okay, you
and you
know,
don't necessarily like establish this, and you don't necessitate and do this, then we could just like as claim it as an unsound argument, which would be entail a fallacy.
okay, hold on. Can I stop you right there? Are
Go
you
ahead.
saying that just because this is listed, therefore it's fallacious?
No, I just gave reasoning as to why. I just wanted to use this actually, and then I came up with
Oh,
an
okay.
argument by itself.
Now let's use this scenario, right? And I told you, I'll repeat it for you again. If I say no, not if I, if person A says Goku is multiversal because he affected this dimension that scales the multiversal, and then the person responds to that with no, because this scan that you sent uh, is contradicted due to the translation of it being wrong, right? And the person A has the obligation to respond. What does the person say? You agree with that, right? The person A has the obligation to respond to that.
I think this is just analogous in the sense I'm
No,
not
no,
asking
no,
you to
listen, I
prove.
was not finished.
Hold
You
on.
kid, you don't even know the
Hold
full
on.
context
I'm
of this
saying that this is
analogy.
just analogous as to this sort where you say like as like a translation of the scan. That doesn't like quite fit the quote I'm asking you. I'm asking you to
Oh no,
provide evidence
no,
and
it's
reasoning
responding.
as to it
Whoa,
referring
whoa,
to
whoa, 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 whoa.
3812.
Okay, whoa, whoa,
You
whoa.
responding and refuting are two different things. You can respond to the fucking thing by saying, okay, bubbles are fucking made of water, and then
Union, the burden of
or like
rejoinder says
fucking
respond.
there's a cow in my room, like bro, that's okay,
It
sure, you
says
respond to it, but you don't give any refutation. In this sense, we're
it
referring to
applies to the
refutation
definition of
or
burden of
respond.
rejoinder.
It's
What?
saying It's no, it's not. It's literally not. But I'm gonna
Oh,
explain to you.
even though, okay,
So basically, it means refute or respond. So when you're like refuting or respond in the most logical sense, you're gonna give a counter rebuttal towards his point that he originally
oh,
made.
so
But
in
if
this
you don't
analogy, do you want to know
achieve
what?
this, then I'm saying that this would entail a burden of rejoinder on the part that you fail to refute
Union,
my argument.
Union. Can I stop you right there? Okay,
How
so
is it
this is
disanalogous? I didn't even bring up an analogy. Are you fucking dumb? You're retarded.
you said this is not analogous. What?
I said yes. I said yours is not analogous, and then
Okay,
I
so
gave
then
reasoning as to
that's a
why.
tautology. What? That's a disanalogous. You fucking agreed with me. What?
What do you mean? What's disanalogous? The point
Not
that I made, or the point
analogous
that you made?
implies
Your
disanalogous.
your analogy was disanalogous, and I explained reasoning as to why.
Okay, then let me respond to that. What the fuck? I
Go
said
ahead.
I said this would still be a refutation because if the person brings the
It would be
evidence,
a refutation. Do you know what
listen.
refutation means? Actually, we can
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
we
it
can play
does. Yeah, I
semantics.
do. I do. I do. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Listen,
I'll
listen,
play
listen, listen.
semantics with you.
The arc,
I'll
the
play
action.
semantics
No,
with
no,
you.
no, no. I'm
I
not.
love
No.
playing
Let me
semantics.
finish.
I'm gonna
Let
play
me finish.
semantics with
No,
you.
you're not
This is
gonna
gonna
play
be
shit.
so fun.
You're not gonna
I'm gonna
play
play
shit. It says
semantics.
the
This is
action
gonna
of
be
proving a
so
state.
fun.
Okay, I'm a local
So
mute you, so you're
let's
not gonna.
prove
Okay. So you're not gonna cut me off mid-sentence. I'm gonna explain this to you. A refutation means the action of proving a statement or theory to be wrong or false. Now, if I use this
that's too
scenario,
late. Too
if
late. I already
I
said
if
definition.
I
I'm not
use
going by your
if
colloquial definition. Why
I
do I have to go by your colloquial
it's
definition?
not colloquial, it's the denotation. I even use the
Actually,
Oxford.
no. This is the I'm using Oxford right now. It says the proof
That's the
or
same
a
thing.
statement that
What the
something is not
fuck?
true
What the fuck?
is wrong.
Union. You just agreed with me. What the fuck? That's the same definition I used against you.
That's definitely not what you just said.
No,
But
it's not.
basically,
Yeah, I said. No,
it's
listen. I
proof
said the
or
action
a
of proving a
statement that
statement or
something is
theory to be
not
wrong
true
or
or
false.
is wrong.
That's
So
fucking
basically,
same.
if you don't
Oh
prove
my
that I'm
god.
wrong or if I'm true or not, if you don't give the obligation to refute what I'm saying, which is to prove that a statement is not true or it is wrong,
That's not a
and you didn't
refutation.
don't do this,
Wait.
hold on, hold
Union,
on,
don't shotgun. No, you're
hold on,
shotgunning me.
hold
You
on.
are
No, I'm
shotgunning
not
me.
shotgunning you.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
gonna
Because I didn't get to finish this. I did not get to. Oh my god, you're server muting me.
it's getting out of hand.
Stop server muting
So
me.
basically, a refutation is proof
Oh my
or
god.
statement that something is not true or is wrong. So my analogy fits this and becomes analogous as the fact if I say, okay, Goku is multiversal, and I respond by saying bubbles are made of water, this doesn't refute or respond, and it doesn't like debunk the fact that it isn't true or is wrong. It's a whole another section at like a whole nother fucking statement. It doesn't necessitate or like analogize with the statement. I'm gonna mute you now.
Okay, so Union, again, we're gonna have to like talk about this refutation thing. With my analogy, I said if the person provides a scan saying Goku is multiversal based off of this dimension to scaling to multiversal, and the person B says that no, this wouldn't make it multiversal because the translation of your scan is false, so then you can't use that feed. If the person does not refute what does the person say, then that's a burden of rejoiner.
Mm.
So you
Hold on,
fine
hold
with
on.
this?
Repeat that. Repeat
Why?
that.
Why?
Because I wasn't listening. I was seeing what Ten was
Okay,
saying
okay.
because he
I'm not
left.
gonna wait. I'm not gonna play with you, so I'll repeat it. So Goku. No, okay. Person A says Goku is multiversal based off of this feat that scales the dimension to multiversal. Like, let's say he uses a scan or something to translate. Like, I don't care. The person B says, no, this wouldn't get into multiversal because the translation is proven to be false. So this feed doesn't get him to multiversal. If the person does not refute what he says, that's a burden of rejoinder on the person A's part.
Mm.
So would you agree with me on this analogy? Yes or no?
I mean, the analogy doesn't really fit the context. I feel like you'd have to use
Oh,
a more
our scenario wasn't
understanding
wasn't a
analogy.
refutation. It wasn't a refutation. You didn't refute anything.
Mhm. What? What do you
Yeah,
mean?
you didn't because you never proved my argument to
So
be wrong.
I'm gonna apply a more set down to
No, I'll
earth.
explain this to you because the
No,
definition of
hold
refutation.
on. No. I'm gonna apply a more set to earth, down to earth analogy that we can both understand. So let's say that I ask you to prove that a character is the character in the scan and it has no mention of this character
Hmm.
at all, like no mention. And then you say, okay, well, it has to be referring to this character because of the fact that it's it's the strongest character in the verse, and it would have to be referring to
That's
this
not my
character
argument.
because SCP-3812 is the strongest character in the verse,
That's not my
and
argument.
therefore we would have to be applying to him. So, and if I say, okay, this doesn't refute my argument of me saying on the fact that um, prove that this is referring to SCP-3812.
Okay, first of all,
That's a more down to earth
okay,
analogy. So if you
hello.
don't ref
Oh, repeat what you said because someone came to my room. Union.
That was good saying.
Oh, what's up, Bob?
sorry,
Hey, good.
um,
Union,
Mio,
just
wait, what
repeat
would
it.
you ask? Yeah,
Yeah,
so
because I was
Bob was
talking.
here. I honestly, let me see what we were talking about. Oh yeah, I think we're still on the fact that
That ice water tastes good.
what were we on again? We were still on the about
Yeah,
how
we were
a
talking about
burden of
union.
rejoinder would entail your concession, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So you do agree that a burden of rejoinder is a fallacy in this case now, correct?
a fallacy? Nope.
Yes. Okay, why not?
Because, let's say if the person, what was it?
I've already shown you that for this case to be a fallacy, you gave no refutation. We can go back on recording and I can show you.
Okay, repeat it. What was it?
Because
Because I'm pretty
repeat
sure
what
I
I
know it.
said. Yes. So no, you gave no refutation to this earlier. It was like way earlier. But basically what I said was is that ignoring or refuting someone's argument or not like fully refuting someone's argument like I think we talked about this already like being a fucking like someone saying that like Goku is multiversal and then you responding and saying oh I fucking ate a bubble like that doesn't refute to someone's argument or negate the truth of their argument. It wouldn't like
I'm fine with this
entail.
analogy. There's nothing wrong. Like what?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that this would be based on an unsound argument on the fact of that because it's unsound and it doesn't correlate to the actual topic at hand, and we can see that it gives no refutation towards the original point that was made, making it unsound in that case.
Okay, and I'll tell you why my argument was sound. I told you before that if this SCP transcends everything and anything, there can't be another SCP who transcends everything and
Yes,
anything. Therefore, it has to be
and
referring.
I asked you to prove that this was referring to SCP-3812, which you
Yes, it does.
never did. You just said that it was by your reasoning.
Hmm. That makes it sound.
How do you know your reasoning to be true?
I already explained to you, like what?
Hold on, you know how
Mm.
your reasoning is supposed to be true?
It is true.
It is true? Okay, prove it's true.
I mean, you never
Is
contend
it
against it
hold on,
being true.
is it true? Is it true by your standards or is it true by my standards?
What do you
Whose
mean by that?
standards is it true by?
What do you mean by that? What standard?
I mean, whose truth is it? Is it your truth?
Bebe.
Or would it be like like a realistic like based off of reality truth?
I mean, if in fiction, I would say
No, I'm saying you're saying this to be true. You're saying this to be the case. So I'm asking you, how do you know it to be true?
because if I explain why it is the case and you're not like attacking it, I think it will be true.
You think it would be true off the okay, so if I say that fucking bubbles are gonna take over the world and someone just ignores me and doesn't refute what I said, does that make it true?
I mean, argumentatively, yeah.
Argumentatively, I'm not talking about oh my god I'm dying.
Yeah, it's
No, I'm joking.
argumentatively true. Like, what are you talking about?
Argumentatively, I'm not talking about argumentatively. I'm asking you, how do you know this to be true?
We're on a debate, so it must be argumentatively true. What are you talking about?
I'm not
We're
talking
debating.
about argumentatively. I'm talking about how do you know for this statement to be true? True.
Oh, you never attacked it.
I never attacked it, so that makes it true. So I'll apply my analogy one more time.
Okay,
If
do you
I
want me to
say if I
explain
go
why it's
around
true?
saying that bubbles are gonna take over the world, does that mean that bubbles are gonna take over the world if no
You
one
can't
responds to me? That
backtrack on
doesn't
my step.
necessarily make it true. I'm not backtracking.
Yes, you
I
are. Do you
I'm
want me
just
to
mean,
explain why?
responding.
Do you want me to
Hmm?
explain why? Because when I like explained it to you, right? Your only problem was telling me
I
to prove this was
mean,
referring to him. You didn't have the problem
Sure. So
with
I'm
the I've
asking
read the
you.
laws of your
So
universe.
if you're bringing it back up, and we went on a sub point about this point, then I can go back and actually you never refuted the original argument, so I'm going to apply this one to see if
What
you
was
can
the original
understand it a little
argument?
bit better. The original argument is that prove that it was referring to SCP-3812, and then you never did this. You
That's not
just
a
said that
refutation. You said it was
that was the
refutation.
original refutation. That was
No,
the
it's not.
original
No.
Oh my.
Okay, let me tell you why. Because if you you also admitted in the recording you have no knowledge if it's referring to him or not. So if you have no knowledge of this thing to be the
mama.
case, then you can't claim it to be wrong. You do understand
I
that?
can't claim it to be wrong. But
Yeah.
hold on, if it has no mention of your character at all, I am obligated to ask you to provide evidence of this referring to your
It's
character.
implied. It doesn't have to be explicitly.
It's implied.
No.
Hmm.
How is it implied?
Because of the context that's being given for this
Because of the
character.
context?
Yeah.
Okay, so I said that I'm not accepting your context because I don't know your context to be true. I'm asking you to provide digital evidence of this being the case, of this referring to SCP-3812.
But
Not knowing it does not
mama.
defeat what I said. Like what?
Are you
But
fucking retarded?
I'm not retarded. Like everything I said just made your point fall
You
apart.
hold on, no, it hasn't at all. You haven't even like given any refutation to my argument. I'm about to call it bird and rejoinder again.
That's not a
This is actually
refutation.
hilarious.
That's not a refutation. I already explained
Actually
to you.
you haven't even refuted my
Skepticism.
bird and rejoinder point. I've literally won every single point we've been across except for the VSBW point, and I dropped it. Dude, this is actually not looking good for you.
Okay, I dropped the first point though. That doesn't matter. So I also won all those points. We can just go off
So
the
you
record.
dropped the bird and rejoinder. So you dropped the bird
No,
and rejoinder point.
nope. I already defeated it.
Okay. You defeated it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
did.
funny, bro. That's
I
funny
did.
because when we go over rec, and we give like fucking Batsu or like Mario the wreck, then this is not gonna look good for you, bro. Unironically, this is not gonna look good for you.
I mean,
yeah,
if
better.
Mario's getting
So
me wrong, then I'll just give him the problem on it, or not him.
Mama.
so let's go back to what you were saying. You said that your reasoning is enough is in your context as I can take your word for it and be like really nice and take your word for it. But I'm asking you, how do I know your word to be true? Let
If
me
I
just ask you
explain
that.
it to
How
be
do
a
I
case,
know
due to my
you explain it
interpretation,
to be a case due to
due,
your interpretation? So how do I know your interpretation to be true then?
if I get, if I set a scan right and kind of like proves the truth of it. Like we went over the
You
fact how.
prove the
Wait,
truth of it, but hold on,
Uni. Can you stop?
How
I'm
do we
gonna
know that
finish.
you prove?
Okay, I'm gonna local mute you again, and I'll explain this to you. We went on, and you also agree that SCP-2812 transcends everything and anything.
He's
I
still
said this
retarded.
scan. Yeah, I said this scan is also implying him, and I explained to you why there can't be another. And SCPs will transcend
Yes,
everything
so
and anything because that would
I'm
just
saying
contradict
I
his
want you to prove
nature.
that this is referring to SCP-3812. I've already given an analogy. I could be using the scan for Deku, and it could be referring to Deku because it has
If
no
there's
mention of
only
SCP-3812.
Wait, say that
This
again?
is why y'all need judges.
You say
Like,
what?
it's just
Then they
going
left,
circular.
and then he wanted to continue, and then I told him that we should get judges in
Union,
here,
Union.
and then he
Repeat what
like
you said.
literally just started like he just started, bro. He just
Repeat,
started.
repeat,
So I
repeat
was
what
like,
you said.
okay,
Repeat what you said.
yeah.
No.
So basically, let's say, hold on, what was my original point? Yeah, so let's say I use this scan for Deku because it has no mention of SCP-3812 in the context of this scan at all. And I don't care if you provide context to it, because I don't know if your context can be taken as true, because I could literally say, yeah, okay, Deku was fighting and using one for all and he superseded everything in the process, because that can be taken as an interpretation of context behind the scan. So I want you to prove that this is referring to SCP-3812.
That analogy does not defeat what I'm saying. What are you talking about?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. I'm
Yeah,
done.
your analogy does not follow the
10, you can
conclusion to
you
what
can
you
you
said.
can give your judgment. 10, you can give your judgment. I'm done here. I can't
Your
do this anymore.
analogy does not follow the conclusion that's being argued in the prior to this.
Ben, can you give your
And
Plus,
can you give your
I
judgment real
told
quick?
you, if there's only
bruh,
one character, if there's only one character that transcends
Conceded on the
everything and
burden of
everything,
rejoinder point.
and
He
it's
conceded
and it's
on everything,
NCP
bro.
and it's SCP-3812, there's no other SCPs that
my
transcend
shit.
it, then it'll refer to SCP-3812, but it's just implied.
Yeah, 10. So can you give your judgment real quick? Can you just type in chat and give your judgment? I've already refuted all of this by saying we don't know it to be the case that it's referring to SCP-3812. And I'm asking him to provide evidence, and he's
Bro,
just going back on his
what is you
context
not knowing
and the
disprove?
context of the scan. So,
What is you not
and I've
knowing
already
disprove?
given an analogy disproving this fact about it being true and how do
Wait,
we know it to be true, and he hasn't provided any evidence. I'm gonna stop the recording. I'm done here.
Union,
Um,
do you think you not
10.
knowing
Can
it
you just like
disproves it? Do you think not
10?
you
Can you
not
just
knowing
give
it
your
means it's
judgment
not
real
the
quick?
case? Union, do you
Bruh,
think
10. Add me
Union,
back, bro.
Union, do you think you not knowing it means it's false? Yes or no? Or it's
Me
not true?
not knowing it makes it false.
Yeah.
Um, mm, Me not knowing it makes it false.
Yeah.
No, but when
No.
I ask you to provide digital evidence to prove and give me knowledge on it, then you say that you're going to use your context behind it. Um, I just feel like that doesn't like refute my argument, and it just
Oh,
like
but you never
it
attacked
doesn't.
it, so
I never attacked it. What do you mean I never attacked it? Yeah, I'll just stop the recording
because you
here
said you
because
don't
this is
care.
done.
You said you don't care.
I don't. When did I say I don't care? What on what
It's
point?
on the recording.
On what point? When?
On this point, when you told me to prove that this SCP that's referring to this SCP, I said it's implied.
You said it's implied.
Yeah, and I'll
What?
explain
And
why.
I said, how do you know this to be true? And then I said, if it's you said it's no, you did not. You actually you might have said it's implied. And then I said, how do you know it to be true? But it still wouldn't
Because
still
he's
wouldn't stand up for my
literally showing
analogy
in the
because
context, and there's
we've already went circular. We've already discussed this point because I said it has no mention of SCP-3812, and you already conceded on that. So you bringing up that it's implied after like fucking
Wait, Union, you do
an
realize?
hour of us
Union,
arguing on this, that's kind of crazy, bro.
Union, you do realize?
It's just how
Union,
implied.
Union,
Whoa.
you do realize if you're not just because you don't mention this character, that doesn't mean it's not him. Like what? You can imply so many characters, but not
Yes,
mention their
so I'm asking you to prove it's referring to this character, and you haven't given me any evidence.
Okay, but
And
he's the
I've
only
given
one
you
who
an
transcends.
analogy.
There's
I'm
difference.
stopping. I'm stopping
If
the
he's the
recording. I'm
only
stopping the
character to
recording.
transcend everything and
I've
anything,
already
then that's
stopped the
him.
recording. He can go over it. I'm stopping. I
Oh,
already
I'm
stopped
still
the recording.
recording this. If you want me to end the rec, I'll do it at any time.
I think I've already beaten you. I think I've already bitched the fuck out of you, honestly.
Wait, but how did you beat me?
Yeah, we're gonna go off of rec, and then we're gonna give it a judgment, and then
What
we'll see their
judgment,
reasoning,
bro?
and then
What
I can.
judgment?
What judgment?
Yeah,
What do you mean? What judgment?
What
You've
judgment?
already agreed to Mario and Batsu judging.
Wait, when did I agree to Batsu judging? I
He
said,
was literally bro. You literally hold on. You took his point and his argument as like, and you started like refuting him like on the point when he like gave his argument about me ratting, and then
oh no,
which would
he
entail
didn't say that to me. He said that to
which
Monkey
would
King.
entail which
No,
would
he said that to
entail, and
Monkey
you
King.
argued it
Wait,
as
that's
well.
out of
You
context.
argued as well.
That's
Which
context
would
me fallacy.
entail.
That's context me
Which would
fallacy.
entail.
That's context me
Hold on.
fallacy.
So you were. That's a what?
That's a context me fallacy.
Prove that's a fallacy.
Oh, context me fallacy. It's a fallacy.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
if
So
you're
you're saying
taking-
it's not a fallacy?
Wait, that's a straw man.
It's not a straw man. You said
Yes, it
okay.
is
So
because you
it's technically a
because you put
fallacy.
words into my
This
mouth.
dude's a fucking retarded.
No, because
I
you
didn't put words in your mouth at all.
Yes,
I
you
said
did.
prove it's a fallacy, and then you said, "Oh, it's a fallacy." Like,
Oh,
are
no,
you
I never
retarded?
said-
Do
I
you
never
know what
said
you're
that.
arguing? This dude is so lost.
I never said that, Union. You said prove. Are you referring to
Hold
the
on, I'll
concept
get you.
of it
I'll get
being
you the
a
recording
fallacy?
right now.
Like, do you want to show me the list of the fallacy, like the definition of it?
Yes, that's what I'm
Okay,
asking
oh,
for.
sure.
I want you to
I thought you
prove
were-
that it's a fallacy.
Okay, sure, I'll do it. Well, it's referred to out of context fallacy. So, yeah.
It's an out of context fallacy?
Yep.
Okay, so why would it be applied in this context?
Because you claimed that I was arguing against Batu even though it was monkey king, therefore it was out of context. So you were
It was.
lying
Oh,
about that.
hold on. I wouldn't be lying.
Yes, you would, because you claimed I argued against Batu even though I wasn't. It was only monkey king, and this is shown in the recording. Or I don't think it's shown in the recording unless you have it.
Hold on. You started arguing with him for at least a little bit, which would entail
No, I didn't.
the fact. Yes,
Show
it
me
would. It
where.
wouldn't be an
Wait,
out
show
of
me where.
context. Yeah, we. Oh, hold on. I'll get the recording right now. I'm loading it up right now, bro. I
Actually,
got you.
upload it on YouTube on public. We can show it to everyone.
Yeah, I did. I put it public right now. I'm already
Sure.
updating it, uploading it right now.
Alright,
Yeah, man.
that's fine. That's
Alright,
pretty
Union,
much it.
he's asking you if your question is proving the fallacies I think proves you committed one.